I'm not really quite sure who needs to hear this, like personally, directly, but all these grocery stores, man, like when you start changing the hours around without sending out like a newsletter or email or something, you know what I mean? Because y'all collect our phone numbers and all this shit. So you got the contact on us. You can hit me up and let me know. But when you get to changing these hours without letting us know, why? That's my question to you. Why? Because now you got me running in there looking like supermarket sweep, and I'm running around like, damn, I thought the bread ain't over here. Oh, hold on, where is? So now I'm running around looking crazy. I thought this was going to be a quick in and out situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what she said. But now I'm in here searching. I'm on a scavenger hunt now. Like now this shit is looking like the Amazing Race. Instead of me pulling up saying, all right, I'm gonna go one, two, I'm gonna run the play like usual. I just don't like it. And I'm pretty sure, I speak for a lot of people when I say that. So hit me up, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to send me emails about products that I don't even buy being on sale and all that. I wasn't gonna buy that anyway. Let me know that you change shit around. Send me a picture, something. Let me know. Send me some footage so I can say, okay, cool. Next time I pull up, I know what's going on. Like, I would appreciate it. But we back in the building. Um, as producer Bethany says, it's January, so we're gonna talk, man. We're gonna talk about a couple things. This is your first time tuning into the show. Thank you. I appreciate you for being here. You know, let me know how you found the show too. Like if you're a new listener, let me know. Like you just casually scrolling one day and you saw it, or somebody sent this to you, or just whatever. And if you've been rocking since day one, and you pulling up again, you back. Welcome back. I appreciate everybody. We got a couple things to talk about. It's been a minute since I did this. I have recorded since I last recorded an episode of this. I recorded with my guy Scott. Shout out to him. Everything they got going over there, the Barbershop Network. I just recorded something recently with one of my best friends, my man Justin. We just did a Giants show, So if you into just football talk, you know what I'm saying? Two people talking about something that's dope. We had fun. We had some laughs. We talked about some, what the Giants need to do moving forward, especially with the draft coming up. Follow my guy at FlyFreeCT on Instagram. He does a show all the time, and it's a dope show. It's a good dude. But it's been a minute since I recorded my show, right? And I do want to talk about that for a second because I think it's important that you prioritize your time, you know, overall, like mental health, just understand like where you are, right? So I want to say like last summer, like where I was job wise, like, the kind of the space that I was in was, it felt like it was headed for like burnout when it comes to like the workload and, just kind of like being pushed and pulled in different directions. At times you can start to be like, I'm good, I got this. You know what I mean? I'm cool, I'm good. Until you sit back and be like, damn, hold on, I'm tired. You know how you lay down and you like, let me take a little 20-minute nap. You wake up, it's dark outside. You like, damn, hold on. Is it tomorrow? Like, let me check my phone. It's one of those things like in real life, and if you've ever been through burnout, then you know how to spot it coming the next time. You know what I mean? So I'm actually appreciative of maybe like a couple years back when like I really felt burnout, for real, because this time I can see the signs and I can kind of take preventative measures so that I'm like, okay, cool, let me sit back. And it got to a point where it was just like, okay, I know that I'm doing a lot, and I know that like I love my show a lot. I love my platform a lot. So I don't want to turn my show into something that it's like a chore to me. You know what I mean? So I take these messages from the universe very serious, because every time I was about to, oh, I'm about to record, I'm gonna do this day, I'm gonna record that day. I got to go to the kid's school to go have lunch with them, or I got to go take my son to do this, take my daughter to do that, or I got to go be here and do this. And so after a while, I was like, okay, the universe is clearly telling me like, hold on, just hold on. Your desk will still be there. It's still right there. Your microphone is right there. Your headphones are right there. Everything you is right there. It will be there. Let's pour into something else. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, let's move this energy into a different direction. You know what I mean? And then when it's time, we can come back down and we can sit at the table, and then we can do this again. So that time is now. I'm back, and it's a couple things I want to talk about. You know what I mean? I know it's something that y'all want me to talk about. I do know that. I've been getting a lot of DMs. Listen, I have a very special guest for the next episode that's going to be coming soon, and we're going to talk about that because yeah, we talking about like a all time fumble, like you know what I'm saying, like in a real way. Also, I'm trying not to use explicit language because my mom. I was talking to my mom, and she was like, can you try not to cuss on your show? And I was like, you know what? Okay, all right, I got you. So I'm gonna try. So Ma, I know you listening to this. Listen, I'm going to try. If I slip up, forgive me. Also, if I slip up, producer Bethany, edit that out. Also, edit this part out where I'm telling you to edit it out. But nah, man. So I do want to give y'all some type of music that y'all can sit with. Shout out to the hardest working man in the business, Bodie James, Detroit's own, Detroit's finest. He's dropped so many projects, since I want to say 2023, early 2023. And then it just hasn't stopped, since then. He's been putting out not only a lot of projects but quality projects. He's doing all different type of music, rapping over different type of beats. He's trying out new flows, and it's all working. So if you guys don't know, he got into a really bad car accident a couple years back that left him paralyzed from like his neck down. And for a while he couldn't do anything, couldn't wiggle his toes, couldn't do anything. And I think that probably was one of those moments where if you listen to his music, listen to his interviews, if you know anything about Bodie, you know that he's had an interesting life, to say the least. But I think that accident kind of maybe put a couple things into perspective for him, because since then he's working like he knows like tomorrow's not promised. You don't know if you're gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'll go to the studio next week. You don't know if that's gonna be a possibility for a number of reasons. So I want to commend him. Number one, I want to say I'm glad that he's been good since then. His recovery has went well. He's back out traveling. I actually got a chance to see him perform. He came down here with Benny to Atlanta. They performed and everything, and it was a great show. He had his son up there. His son was going crazy on the stage. It was beautiful to watch, man. I had so much fun at that concert. So shout out to him. But yeah, man, he's got another project that's coming out soon called Permanent Ink. It's coming out the 24th, January 24th. So just if you aren't familiar with Bodie James, I would suggest that you start with the Bo Jackson project, which released in 2021, produced by Alchemist. And I just get familiar with Bodie. Shout out to him. He was my number one artist on Spotify for 2024. Like, and I knew it too because like I listen to Bodie every day for the most part. So shout out to Bo. I'll always take opportunity, no matter what, to shout Bodie out. Also, there's another album that I don't think a lot of people, I don't know, have either checked out or have been talking about, giving it this proper credit. I want to give you all the exact release date of this. I want to be for sure. So, it's an artist by the name of Sholey. He's out of Connecticut. This album came out. It came out last year, October 23rd, 2024. Right. So still fairly new. I listened to it when it came out. He's one of those guys who you'll see him, freestyles, and he's burning them up. You know that he can rap. So the question usually with artists like that is, can they make a song, and then ultimately can they make an album? This is a phenomenal album. If you love rap, if you want to hear somebody that's really talking over some good production, it's some familiar samples on there. I won't ruin it for you. Some great samples on there. But I listened to the album when it came out, and I sat with it for a minute. I left it for a while just to see if I can come back to it and get the same feeling, and I still do. I still feel the same exact way I felt when it dropped. Which in this day and age, like it's rare. I'm not gonna lie. Like it seems like it's only been a couple months, but man, music doesn't last a couple days now. You know what I mean? To the next week, the next artist put out something, and you forgot about everything that just came out. So this is a great album. It's a very like short album. It's right to the point. I would say 15 songs, 41 minutes, and that's including a bonus song. So it's not a tough listen. You know what I mean? Your commute to work, if you are running errands, doing whatever. I think this music can survive in a couple different places as well. You can listen to this music in the car. You can listen to it at the in the spot, whatever spot you in there drinking and having a good time, whatever. You could put this on around some women too. You got some joints on here, like you got some joints. I'm gonna send producer Bethany a couple of these joints when we wrap this up. You know what I'm saying? I know she like rap. I know she can appreciate some good rap. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I've been listening to those two. I've been SZA dropped the deluxe SOS is man. Listen, that shit might be my favorite album of all time. I'm even gonna hold you. I listen to that album all the time still. And she dropped the deluxe Lana, a bunch of songs on it, and they did the remake, revamp, whatever you want to call it, of Throw Some D's, the Rich Boy shit. Her and Kendrick. That song is incredible. That song is going to go so crazy on their tour. This GNX tour is going to be insane. I know it's going to be crazy. Look, you see the ticket prices. You know it's going to be crazy. They're gonna do that Luther joint. They got joints together. Like we ain't even gotta get into all of that. But that joint is gonna go crazy. That song is going to go crazy. So shout out to her. But yeah, man. Like I said, we back and I do wanna talk. Let's get into the gym portion of this, right? Let's get into the gym portion. Producer Bethany and I, we had a conversation before we started recording. Won't tell you everything we talked about, whatever. But she asked a question, and it's all money good money, right? I know for some people, when you think about money, you think about this hustle culture, which we've been very vocal about in the past. Money seems to be the end all be all to a lot of people, and that's a dangerous space to be in, because when you start to put money above like morals and people and things like that, you start to open the door for a lot of BS. Because even with the conversation about like splitting bills or paying all the bills and doing this, that, and the third, when you start to set the bar at a financial aspect when it comes to provision, you start to weed out a lot of good men who may not fit that standard financially. And then you open the door for a lot of suckers who figured out how to get a couple dollars. They figured out how to make a little bit more money than a dude that has like morals and values and principles and stuff like that, right? So now this dude comes into the door making 200,000 a year, 300,000 a year, or he's a millionaire or whatever. But this man may not even be a provider. He may make has he carried the groceries in for you, or you know what I'm saying? Anything? Can he fix anything for you? Can he give you some advice? Can he show you how to do something? Can he teach you something? And if the only thing he can teach you is just how to make money, I'm not sure that that's the best person to go to, for counsel. So for me, all money is definitely not good money, because is some money is nasty, because it's coming from a place where you had to give up a piece of yourself for that money. Like if that person didn't have money, it'd be out of the question for them to ask you certain questions, or it'd be out of the question for you to go sit down and talk to them and have a conversation with them, and go pull up and do certain interviews or certain just whatever it is, certain songs, anything. But because it's a decent enough bag attached to it, then you'll do it. And if that's the case, then I'm not sure you can call yourself like a person of respect. And this is not just like to men. This is just people, period. Like I always say, like you don't know who you are until you get in these situations. You know who you think you are. You know who you would like to be. But until you are presented with these options and somebody says, look, I have, whatever that number is for you, right? $100,000 for you to do X, Y, Z. And last week you were just on social media saying you would never do this. You don't know. You don't know. You see that check. You see them commas on there. And you like, damn, I don't know. Because having morals and standing on something and having a backbone, it sounds good. It's a good sound bite. It's a good clip. But are you really going to stand up and make those tough decisions? Because I've had to make decisions before where it's like maybe being in this certain space will be a good look. But if it don't feel good, then I can't be there. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter how many views are attached to it, how many listeners are attached to it, how much money's attached to it, the opportunities or whatever. I have to look my family and my friends in the face and still be who I am to them. And I can't trick that off just for a couple dollars. So to me, all money is definitely not good money. Now, Nelly said this a long time ago about, all money ain't good money, but no money ain't good, right? Now I remember that. I remember that line. So yeah, you definitely want to get some money. Like I understand that like women don't want to be with a man who isn't trying to do anything for himself. But at the same time, if you with a man that's doing anything and everything for a dollar, that's probably not the man you need to be dealing with either, because that's not somebody who stands on anything. So how can you expect him to be a leader, somebody who you should follow, somebody who's you can trust to build a foundation with when you could be going for the right amount? You know what I mean? Like when it really comes down to it, like if somebody presented them an opportunity, yo, you could do this, it'll be a good look. It's gonna be they'll probably abandon their family for the money because that's what they're chasing. Because a lot of people make having money being like the new standard to being a man. If you don't have X amount of dollars, then you can't be considered a real man. When to me, I'm judging the man based on principles. You know what I mean? Like how are you when nobody's around? How are you with your kids? Not many people out here probably getting money, running a bag up, doing XYZ, whatever, and they don't know anything about their kids. Their kids don't even like them. That's not somebody who I'm looking at as a man just because there's a dollar amount attached to it. Like I just can't do it. I know some people do. Some people look at that and they value that above everything. But for me, I can't do it, man. There's no dollar amount on that. Like I couldn't imagine being able to just provide financially and buy material things for people who don't respect me. Because like it's a never ending like chase. You're gonna always be chasing their respect and their love, and you'll never get it. You're gonna be somebody who they use to get things that they want, but when that money's gone, then what? Who are you then? Because before the money came, you had to be somebody. So it's just I don't know. It's wild to me. And that's one of those conversations that when I see it, I'm always just like, "Ah, man, I want better for both people involved, like both parties involved, when it comes to a certain dollar amount that a man needs to have to be considered a man and things like that. Because some of the greatest men I know ain't making six figures a year. You know what I'm saying? But you can point to a bunch of suckers that got money, a bunch of millionaires that don't stand doing shit. Like and it's one of those things where until we fix that issue like in house and you start to have those conversations with your people, with your family, your friends, and your circle, you put the right counsel around you, then I think that thing is going to continue because you I put it like this. Everybody knows somebody who had money if you grew up in a certain neighborhood or whatever, and people will excuse their behavior. They'll be like, oh man, he was wilding last night. He said this to this person, or he put hands on that person, but it's all good, man, because like you want to borrow some money from him tomorrow. Or like he'll offer to buy you something to make up for the things that he did. But then there'll be somebody else who you wouldn't even let come around you because they don't have a certain dollar amount. And that might be a legitimate good person. That might be some person who makes sure that this woman gets home safely, make sure that, the kids ain't outside when the BS start to pop off, and, they helping this old lady cross the street and they carrying the groceries and they doing this and helping the kids with their homework. But that's not somebody who you big up and who you applaud because, oh, he ain't getting no money, man. We ain't listening to that. So it's wild, man. And work needs to be done. You know what I mean, in a lot of different areas. But to sum it all up, like all money is definitely not good money, man. I would make the case that a lot of money it corrupts because it brings power and it brings influence. And if you put that in the hands of somebody who already had bad intentions to begin with, they can trick a lot of people. And yeah, it's nasty, man. Like I said, we talked about this beforehand, before we started recording and all that, and it was, you know, it's just wild to see. I know I might have slipped up and said a word or two here or there that my mom wouldn't approve of. My bad, mom. But I get passionate sometimes about about certain things, man. Producer Bethany, I'm gonna text you after this and let you know. You know what I'm saying, how to, fix that for me and all that. But talked about kids a little bit, and just overall, like we always talk about this every time me and producer Bethany talk. We talk about kids, and lately I've been I do this thing where like every single day, right? I take inventory of like how I'm moving, what I've done, what I've said, how I've said it. Could I say it better? Could I do something better? Could I be better in a certain aspect? And I think that unless you're doing that, then you're not being the best version of like yourself, number one, but then also when it comes to being like a parent, like to your kids. So for an example, a lot of people, the way you grew up, if Johnny had five apples and he ate two of them and not, and then this, the parent, they got a belt on them because they waiting for you to, that wasn't my reality, but I know a lot of people who this is what it was. So now you scared to get it right now because you like, damn, hold on, I don't even want to say the wrong thing. I don't even want to look like I'm about to say the wrong thing because there's a threat of violence in it. But if you go to work and you got to train a new hire, you're not going to talk to that person like that. Like if they don't understand what you're trying to tell them, they don't understand the information that you're trying to give them, you're going to be a little bit patient because you need to be what's called professional, right? Oh, you need your job. You got to talk to this person with some respect. You got to do this. Why you can't do the same thing with your kids? Your kids don't understand something. That is where parenting begins. Really, like Mike Tomlin said, when you look at a player, he got bad mechanics, bad catching mechanics, bad throwing mechanics, whatever. That's where coaching begins. So like if you don't want to do your job, I don't know what to tell you because like you can't expect them to just like know these things. You know them. Teach them to them. Be patient with them. The same way that you would give a stranger in the street respect and, clear up a miscommunication because you don't want to get into an altercation, whatever. Give your kids the same grace. Give your significant other the same grace, right? Like it's just one of those things that I think as parents, a lot of people abuse their power and their authority, and it ends up making their kids resent them because it's like, of course your kids have to listen to you, but do you have to present it in a way where it's like, it's fear, like you better just do what I say because I said it, period. Like, nah, man, that's not the best method of teaching. It's not the best method of, you know, I guess like letting your kids know like who you are for real. Because like if you love them, you can't just come around and, like we just talked about with the money, like you want to provide for them and buy them a toy here and there, or buy them, whatever it is, some shoes, some clothes, or an item that they like, whatever, and think that that's going to get you to love. Like it's really not, man. They pay attention to the small things, the way you talk to them, the way you look at them, um, the way you make time for them. Uh, do you pay attention to what their love language is? Like, do you really care about the little small things? Sometimes they just want to play. They want to show you something they drew for you. Or they want to come watch this video. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you constantly telling your kids, yo, nah, not right now. I ain't got yo, watch out. I ain't got time for that. Go do this, go do that. But then some girl you interested in sent you some shit you don't even care about, and you watching that attentively. So you can make, you can send her some feedback about this. Yo, let me let her know. Like, yo, bro, your kids is right, and this goes for both sides. I'm not just, saying this just for men. Like it's for anybody. Like when you go to work, your manager walk in or whoever, your client or whoever it is you deal with, and you start to put on a different voice and you start to be courteous and you hold the door for them and all this, you should do the same thing to your kids at home. If more people treated their kids the way they treat strangers, the world would be a better place. I know that sounds crazy, but it's even crazier in practice because the way that people will go out their way to be nice to people and give people grace and the benefit of the doubt and listen to them and make sure they understand and this, you need to have the same rapport with your children, man. Like, why recently, right, there was a little situation where it's like I'm seeing my son and my daughter, and I'm like, wait, hold on, I think I can clear up this confusion real quick, right? So my daughter's trying to get to the car door first, and my son is treating it like it's kind of like a race. So he's like, "Yo, like what whatever." So I'm like, "Wait, hold on. Let me just tell you." I'm telling my son, "Let me tell you what's going on." She's trying to get to the door first so that she can open up the door for you, because you have to get in first, and because of like the way his seat is in the car is right behind mine. So like he has to. That's just the way it goes. So I'm telling him that's what's going on right there. I don't want you to think that she was trying to like win and get to the car before you. Like that's not what it is. And he understood. He was like, "Oh, okay, like all right." But in most cases, the parent is, "What the fuck you doing?" Going crazy, and creating a hostile environment where it doesn't need to be one. And for me, it's like, yo, bro, not only are these still people, but these are my kids. They're my kids. Like, why would I not give them the same courtesy as I would with somebody who, if I heard a disagreement between two of my friends and I feel like somebody's missing a part of the story, I can kind of give my input and say, nah, look, I don't know if this is what I think happened, or this is, whatever. And I would try to diffuse that. You need to do the same thing at home, like in your own home, like just little things like that. Also, another thing too is I don't go too long without having an interaction with my kids when I'm home. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm home all day, they off doing their own thing. They watching something, or they doing something. They drawing. They got this going on. I don't go too long without pulling up on them and asking them something, or what I mean. I dap my son up and whatever. I remember one time I was walking through recently, and he was at the table just chilling, having a snack, whatever. And I pointed at him and I made like a little face, little funny face, and he laughed and he was like, "Daddy, you funny." And to me, that was it's a cool moment because like he got a laugh out of it. He like, "Oh, you funny," and the energy is just up. You know what I'm saying? Because every time I see him, it's always something going on. Or I go pull up on baby girl and pick her up, give her a hug, show her something, show her a picture of the cats, show her a video of the cats that I got, and what I'm saying, the other day that I forgot to show her or whatever. And it's always something going on so that they understand. Like if you want to create a space and you want to tell your kids they can come tell you anything, you need to show it to them all the time. You can't expect them to bring you a life altering thing that they need to come tell you, or like a dilemma they have, if you haven't created a safe space for them over the course of their life to just know that you're there no matter what it is, even when the stakes are low. Like you're there. You're there to just hear a funny joke they made, or look at a picture that they drew, or just whatever it is. So I take inventory of that. I take inventory and say, if I ain't really walking through too many times without interacting with them or saying something. It don't have to be a long lecture or a long, hey, I'll ever tell you about the time that it don't have to be any of that. It's just a regular, just an interaction. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the same way that you would see one of the homies at work, and every time you say, "Hey, bro, you saw the cat, yo," and you see him the next time, "Yo, you always, keeping it up. Do the same thing with your kids." That's all I'm asking. Like, treat your kids the same way that you treat these people in the streets. Because in the streets, the stakes is high. You being extra polite. Well, I know I am. I'm being extra polite because I know where I'm willing to take things, right? I don't want altercations with people. I don't want, any of that, because I know where I'm willing to go with it. So I'm always courteous. I'm holding the door for people. Excuse me, I'm doing that. But I'm doing the same thing at home. I'm not coming home and, giving them the worst of me. Like, nah, bro. I'm not doing that, dog. I'm not going outside putting on the fake mask for everybody else and then coming home and giving them whatever I got left. Like I'm not doing that. Even on those nights when you have a long night at work and you had a difficult night at work, and somebody said something you didn't like or whatever, and you get up and you take your kids to school, and now you taking it out on them. Yo, what? Snapping and all that. Like, that's not, you have to learn how to compartmentalize. That's not a suggestion. Like, you have to do those things because those are your children, and they need to know that they matter. They need to know that no matter what's going on, they have a special place in your heart and in your life, to where you will not talk to them the same way that you would talk to somebody who you would consider an enemy, or somebody who you would consider to be bringing like some bad energy to you. Like, they're your kids. I don't know how many times I gotta say it, man, but like, these are your kids. You should be interested in their development and their growth. And it starts at home, because you listen to a lot of these celebrity interviews, and I'm lost count of how many times a lot of these people say, "Oh, I didn't know my dad liked me until I got older and we had a conversation." And it's like, yo, you probably went 20, 30 years not knowing if your dad liked you. You didn't know if y'all was cool. You didn't know. Like, that's a lot. It's a strain, and it can influence behavior tremendously. It can influence the way you treat people. It can influence the way you treat yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know all of these things because, like, me coming up, um, I look at the relationship that my dad and I had, and at a certain point, it went from like this to something different, because I was getting older, he was getting older, and I don't know if we, both of us, knew how to like kind of connect the dots and bridge that gap a little bit, so the communication was like a little like, hold on, what's going on right now? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that every father and son is doomed to have like this, fallout, and like you're gonna reach a point where like, oh, I don't like him. I don't know what's going on. Like it doesn't have to be, but you have to start putting that groundwork in like right now. You got to start talking to you have to raise like the man that you want him to be. You know what I mean? Like don't always look at him like a little boy. Like, yeah, give him grace in those moments when your son is a toddler, your son is, teenager, whatever, give them grace because you know that they don't know everything yet, but also speak life into them and treat them as like the man you want them to be. Be an example of the man you want them to be. Don't just you can't be running around being something and then preaching something else to them because they're gonna look at you and be like, what? Like, nah, bro. Like what is he talking about? So now you're gonna put yourself on a op list unknowingly. Now they're in the room like gonna tell me like he can't do 20 push-ups. He telling me to, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know these things, man. Like we just have to bring back being a man. You know what I mean? And not with all these, the man with the most this or the most that. Like it has to be cool to have morals and values and stand on something. It has to be cool to like work out, you know what I'm saying? To know things, to have conflict resolution skills, to have communication skills, like that type of stuff has to be cool and pushed to the forefront more. And that's the reason why I do what I do, because every single episode I've ever done, I've always given you something you could take with you every single time. Whether it's, it's something funny, it's a joke, like we're gonna do that because that's just how I am. But at the same time, I'm gonna always give you something you can take with you because that's just the way I am. I feel like if I have the knowledge from the experiences that I've had, I have to share it. Because if not, it just goes to waste. It stays with me. So I give that to, my kids. Like they come home and tell me about their day at school, and I always give them my input. I don't just, oh wow, that's crazy. I'm not doing that to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. I'm really interacting. Okay, well, maybe that person said this because of this, but don't take that personal. That's just how they feeling. You know what I'm saying? Cool. But I'm letting them know this because like you're supposed to be giving the information to the people that are closest to you. You're supposed to be building with your family. You understand what I'm saying? And that, like I said, that type of stuff starts at home. It starts with, with your kids, man. And so even about the money, like any money that takes you away from your family for an extended amount of time, you have to know like it's not all the way good. I know you have to provide, like I get it, I understand. But make sure that the time that you do get to spend with them until you're able to achieve a better work-life balance, make sure you're making that time count. You understand what I'm saying? Like make that time count the same way that you would make some time count if you want to go to the bar one night, have a good time, cool. You're gonna make that time count. I'm gonna go enjoy myself, I'm gonna have a good time. Learn how to pour into different aspects of your life. Like I said, the same way you will when you go to have fun. I'm not saying you can't, but just make sure that it's a balance. Make sure that your kids understand that they're a priority. Anybody in your life that's important, make sure that they're a priority. And it really starts with the kids, honestly, man, because the way that a lot of people were raised is the reason why we're dealing with so many, types of people now as adults. Because it's like, damn, if somebody would have just hugged you, if somebody would have told you they love you, that like you cool as is, like you good. You know what I'm saying? I support you. I respect you. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for you. What do you need? Like just simple things like that. And I don't say that as a diss. When I say if somebody would have hugged you, I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying it to be real because you know how many times you see these memes where they like, yo, don't hug me too hard. I might cry. Like I haven't had a, you know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. The reason why these things go viral is because everybody's thinking it, but it's masked with humor because it's like, yeah, man, it's fun. But you don't really want to confront that and have that conversation all the time. So I get it. I understand. But just understand now, like you have the power to change the future. This is not hyperbole. You have the power to change the world. And it starts with your kids and your home and the way that you feel about yourself. Because you have to take care of yourself first. You got to make sure you're getting enough rest. You got to make sure you're getting, the proper amount of stimulation from things, books, movies or music or whatever it is, like make sure that you're good and you're operating on a good enough vibration so that you can give them, that good energy back. Because if not, if you don't take care of yourself, you don't prioritize, your time, your mental health and things like that, you're gonna be no good to the people around you because you're not even operating at a high enough clip for them to get anything from you. So my message is always to take care of yourself. Always, you know what I'm saying? Like if you feel like you need to go take a nap or whatever, don't feel like you looking at social media and you somebody on there like, yo, I just stayed up for 5 days in a row. I just made it cool, good for you, bro. Go lay down. Go lay down, dog. Like, no. My favorite people are the people that say, I can't wait to go to sleep. I can't wait. You know what George Costanza once said? The great George Costanza? He said, sometimes a good nap is the only reason I get out of the bed in the morning. Like the nap that I'm gonna take today, you know how many times I started my day off in a much better mood because I know that nap I'm gonna take going. I know it. I know it's gonna hit. I know it. The same way I know that Patrick Mahomes gonna throw a touchdown. You don't understand what I'm saying? I know it's gonna happen. I know it. Close my eyes is going. I know it. It's just what it is, man. But in all, like I said, my point to you, when it comes to these kids, man, is take care of them, and you do that by taking care of yourself and take inventory, man. Like I said, just on a day-to-day basis, ask yourself, you know, on your ride home from work or your ride to work or whatever it is, whenever you got some free time, some quiet time, yo, how was I today? Could I have said this different? Could I have said more? Should I have said less? Should I have listened a little more? Should I have done this? Whatever. Like, ask yourself that, and don't be scared of the answers. Because if your answer is, "Yeah, I could have said that different," cool. Do it different tomorrow. You got to start somewhere. Don't just keep going down a certain path just because you've been going down that path, dog. It's okay to turn around and say, "Nah, I was wrong." Tell your kids when you was wrong too. Yo, my bad. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that to you, or I shouldn't have, whatever. You didn't deserve that. Let them know that because you're teaching them early that they're worthy of being apologized to. They're worthy of somebody coming and explaining themselves to them. Don't be the parent that's do this because I said it, and if I was wrong, so what? Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because they love you. They love you, and you're gonna damn near teach them to love people that treat them that way as well because like it's love involved. And you don't want that. You don't want your kids starting off on that track because then when you get older and you see the people they dealing with, you ain't gonna like it. But you might not like it because you see yourself in them. So I'm just saying, you got time to change. You can start today. You should. Um, but yeah, we'll get more into that. You know what I'm saying? This right here is why I do this. Like this is why this platform was built. This is why I continue to do it. Next episode I will have a very special guest, my favorite feature. I'm pretty sure y'all know who that is. I ain't gonna say it. But we're gonna talk. We're gonna definitely talk about what y'all want me to talk about because I know hey man, the DMs I've been getting this past like week. Oh man, it's just made me feel good, man. It did. It really made me feel good. It did. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get a little bit more into that. In the meantime, man, listen, just subscribe, comment, like it, give it, 5 stars, tell a friend and tell a friend and all that. And yeah, until next time, man, we out.